Ever since the beginning of online dating, there has been one constant: the boring platonic interview date. You've all been there, half an hour in, she's talking about her job. An hour in, she's telling you her favorite color. Maybe an hour and a half in, she finally cracks a smile when she tells you how much she loves her dog that she then has to get home to and walk, and that's the end of the date. Those dates f***ing suck. You do not want to be on those dates. What you would like is a date I was on recently that I thought was gonna be one of those dates. It turned out that the girl showed up and she was better looking than her photos. And it turned out she was more interesting in person. And it turned out that even though she had to get up in the morning for her first day of work, she still decided to stay out late and spend some more time with me, and things went very, very well from there. But it started out as the boring platonic date. It took me quite a while to get past the small talk. But because I know what I'm doing, because I was patient, but patient with a plan, I was able to actually make what would have been that awful date into an amazing date. And I'm gonna show you right now exactly how I did that. Let's check it out.
Because my life is so unexpected.
Okay.
I mean, before moving here, I almost moved in, got married. And then in a month, I moved into US.
Okay.
I mean, so if you ask me like...
So you left him at the altar?
Almost. It was
Wow.
his fault. It was his fault.
So in general, I'm not the biggest fan of talking about exes, but since she brought it up and since it is funny, I can certainly tease her on it. And this is gonna be, I think, something that does come up as a joke or a tease a few times throughout the interaction. So I wanted to point out where it actually comes from. So if you see the references later on. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of bringing up exes, but I'm certainly fine with teasing girls about what they say about their exes.
So
Really?
he is crazy.
So he was this close and you were just like, no, not at this point. Just.
He went crazy. You know, like they crazy.
So see, men can go crazy.
Exactly. They just don't speak about this in society. You know, this kind of crazy they usually say about women when women become this like obsessive of men and being like, where are you? What are you doing? Why you never texted me? Like, are you with another woman or something? But it was just vice versa. He was this way. And I was...
And again, I'll take the lesson from the girl. I tell you guys not to be needy. She's telling you, don't be needy, okay? This is not necessarily a lesson just for an online dating course, but I mean, again, girls tell you these things. Listen up.
Usually, typically, women are like this. I have lots of friends who are like this. And like, not everybody is. So I tend to find guys like this. Guys who would be this crazy. And I'm like, why? Why? So if you ask me out...
If you want to like give yourself an ego boost, you can claim that you make them that crazy.
I like the idea.
You like that idea? Yeah. You're like
It sounds like
they were normal, but then they were met like they changed completely.
That's terrible. No, but it sounds like, right? I have this power to drive people crazy mentally.
Check, please. And again, easy tease, red flag, check, this is a problem. Those kind of lines can work very easily as quick teases. I use those obviously a lot.
I need either music or films or something.
So it's like just going on in the background, kind of?
Yeah, I need something in the background and not my neighbors. So
something to drown out the voices in the head.
Exactly. This is how schizophrenia works. So I just need something to watch something, and that's impossible because you work every day. And I mean, you need something that long that would cover the whole day. So that's why, I'm just rewatching it for this time or something.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, I'm not crazy in that matter.
I have a philosophy.
Okay.
There's a direct correlation between how many times someone says they're not crazy and how crazy they actually are.
Okay, so how crazy I am?
I don't know, I think you said you're not crazy 3 times so far, so you're...
Not that much.
And this is a continuation of that joke. Obviously, if I start out teasing her about being crazy, I can always exaggerate and expand on that joke. Jokes have that ability to expand and contract as needed. So if you start with a light joke and it works, you can certainly double down on it or extend it or exaggerate it further, etc.
My friend, a friend of mine, when I learned it first, I was like, what a bizarre way to call somebody a friend of mine. And then I fell in love with this expression. And now every time I'm speaking slowly and I have time to think, I would say friend of mine. instead of just saying my friend, which is like means the same. Which is nice.
That means you own your friend. Technically, friend of mine.
Oh my god, you just ruined the expression.
I think it's cute. I think it's a good expression.
Now, not anymore.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
It sounds like slavery.
Yeah. Okay, fine. If you said friend who is mine, then I'd be owning it. So it's okay. It's not friend of mine. It's not friend who is mine. It's fine.
That's it. You already.
Friend who I own.
You already ruined it. That's it.
Fine. All right. Well, that's good. At least if we become an item, you won't call me boyfriend of mine then. So I won't feel owned. So that's a good example. There was a long period of this date, which you won't have seen if you're watching this, because a lot of it will have just been cut out because it's just, dull, whatever. But trust me, there was a long period of that. And there wasn't a lot of man to woman. So I was looking for something man to woman, but I didn't want to force it. I didn't want to force something man to woman and make it try hard. But as soon as there's an opportunity to tease, I tease on the expressions, just a little tease. It's not man to woman. But then I take this friend of mine, I turn it into boyfriend of mine, and now all of a sudden I've brought man to woman back into the set. You need to keep that present. Doesn't have to be all the time, but it can't go too long without it.
You know what? I might, because that one would look like really nice.
Yeah, you like that? I'm glad you think the idea of...
Because this is what we started with, that I drove somebody crazy and left at the altar, right? So I would be keeping the story up to the level.
Well, I'm flattered that you'd like me to be boyfriend of yours. Let's take it slow, okay? Because, so far you're fun to talk to, you're not so bad, but, we haven't known each other that long. Slow down.
Okay. Okay.
You're fun to tease, what can I say?
I know that you enjoy it. Giving you time to enjoy it.
And you can see how once it does get man to woman, it can get significantly more man to woman all of a sudden. And that's what you want. It's called fractionation. You make it man to woman, you escalate a bit, little normal conversation. Little man to woman, little normal conversation. And gradually, over time, those man to womans will get to be larger bits of escalation. They'll get more man to woman. But sometimes it's slow. Sometimes there's a lot of conversation in between. And particularly if the girl likes to talk and is willing to talk, a lot of girls will sort of talk themselves into bed. Now you have to make sure that you keep some flirtation there, but letting them open up and talk can be a good thing.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh, so what is your plan and your story for tonight? Because I'm actually enjoying you more than I expected. So
I'm sorry.
I wasn't. Yeah, it is very inconvenient because I wasn't planning on staying and talking to you for super long, but now that you're fun, I actually am kind of tempted to.
Okay.
But I know you probably have early work tomorrow and all that kind of stuff, or what's your story?
I have to go back to office tomorrow.
Okay.
We didn't go to the office since June.
So here, I'm starting to figure out logistics, and often I'd be doing this a lot earlier on in the date, but in this case, it just took a while to get good, and it's starting to actually get good. The vibe is starting to be really good, and so now is when I'm actually figuring out logistics.
Easier. I think in winter it won't be, but it's easier with the amount of sun in this country.
Yeah, you'll be right. All right, well, I was going to invite you to hang out with me and, maybe, do some other things in the city, but as is, maybe I should just, send you away, and then if we're meant to be, we'll hang out some of the time.
Send me away, thank you.
So this is a great example of seeding the poll, right? I'm mentioning what could possibly be on the table, what the future plans might be, but I'm saying I was thinking about doing that, but now I guess I'll have to do this other thing. And I make the other thing sound, unappealing or a little bit tragic, etc. Always missed, that one very sexy thing you do. I will always think of it and always think of you fondly. At some point I'll get over it and we'll be able to be friends, but Anyway.
Okay.
What?
You're fun.
I'm fun? Oh, you like me. That's very sweet.
I will think about that.
You'll think about liking me?
Yeah.
Let me know.
No, okay.
Go home.
Then you will answer me in a day or two.
I mean, it depends on what you write me. If you write me, certain things you write me,
I might not even answer at all, right?
Some things I might not answer at all. Some things I might answer immediately, and some things, there's a range.
Okay. So I can promise that I will not write something that you will never respond to.
Wow.
Because this is what I like about this city. You can ghost somebody. It's not a part of our culture. We never ghost anybody. We always explain ourselves, even if we want to make it. I don't know, if you have a fight with a friend, you will explain why you don't want to be friends anymore. In this city, they just ghost each other. Nobody explain themselves.
So I am legitimately, if you didn't have work and all that, I would absolutely hang out with you more. I don't want you to think that I'm trying to get rid of you.
I am not.
But since we're going to have to part company soon, we may as well. I'll walk you out and we'll get you home, and then, we can decide whether or not to ghost each other. What? So at this point, I had sort of decided it probably wasn't going to be a pull for tonight. I thought she really liked me, but it sounded like she was really, really dauntingly oppressed by her work schedule. First day back at work, tons to do, super buried. I can't believe it. I'm just thinking about how much I have to do. I have to get up early, all that kind of stuff. It's a lot. And so I didn't want to push it. I didn't think that was the right move to try and push it in this particular case. But I knew she liked me. I knew she absolutely definitely wanted to see me. I knew that it was a better situation after this date than it had been before this date. All right, so that's all really positive. And actually coming into this date, that was my intention. I figured we only had a short time because she wasn't doing the drinking thing, because she was kind of angry and seemed kind of uptight before the date. I had kind of figured this was going to be we'll do this date, and if we like each other, we'll do a second date kind of date. So at this point, that was actually my thought. However, I am still throwing out the possibility of saying I was thinking of this is a possibility. And I am gauging her reaction because I don't want to say you want to be opportunistic in game, but ask yourself, what is the opposite of being opportunistic? What, being like an opportunity avoider, right? You don't want to go out of your way to not take opportunities when they present themselves. So I would say I had resigned myself to this probably being, we just like each other, we'll continue this and we'll meet up, and then the next date will be the pull date. But I still kept open the possibility, I still kept open the belief, and I was still going to try and throw some things out there to make it possible to the extent that I could without messing up the future plans. And so I was kind of walking that tightrope at this point. Fair enough. You do Subway and stuff, yeah? Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Would you like me to get you an Uber?
I'm okay. But thanks.
You're welcome. I mean, I just would like you to, I'd like you to go home comfortable before I ghost you, just so I don't feel as bad.
Thank you very much. Then I should have accepted, right, the offer.
I mean, So the Uber is a risk, because I do risk her saying yes to the Uber, going home, I pay for the Uber, I don't get in, and it just costs me some money. But I think my time is worth more than the money. And also there's the possibility that in getting her the Uber, it leaves a more positive experience for her, and then she's very keen on seeing me next time, because even when I had no agenda, I took care of her, I was nice to her, I built some comfort, etc. So money aside, it's the right move for sure. But whether you want to make this move financially kind of depends on your situation. When I was a poor college student, I probably would not have made this move. But then again, I might have missed opportunities because of not making this move. Fair enough.
I'm calling you. Okay. She just talked into my ear.
Oh, I'm sorry. She's telling you all her secrets. You're lovely. Thank you for not being insanely, incredibly boring. Okay. So here, when I hug her, she seems like she's not seemed particularly, we haven't had a lot of physical touch or anything like that, but now it felt very good, and it felt like she was into the hug and really liked it and kind of didn't want to let go. So it felt very, very good. And then when I pulled back, she didn't really pull away. Now we're close. So now it suddenly feels intimate in a way that it hasn't so far during the date. So now I'm going to, try a little bit to gauge whether a kiss makes sense. I was worried you might be, to be honest.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because, can I be honest with you?
Yes.
And notice how as we leave, the physicality stays, right? The hand holding, staying close, eye contact. These are all good precursors to a potential kiss, potentially leading physically, etc. So you seemed like you had, a lot of rules and expectations. You worked, which is the part of the business that is the most rule following on top of everything else.
Okay.
You were of descent, which made me think that at least the first half hour would have been absolute torture. I mean, I'm willing to put up with that because, again, I have dated amazing girls from there that were absolute torture for the first half hour and it turned out okay, so whatever.
So you still put yourself in this torture position, despite everything.
Because if I saw this look without the expressions on it, I might think it's very serious. All these things. Mm-hmm. But I'm glad you had a sense of humor.
Thank you.
I'm glad you can appreciate beauty before you. I'm just kidding. Again, notice the physicality, right? Notice the physical escalation, the tone of voice change. All of this it's a subtle phase shift. I'm not going super hardcore. I'm not going all in on the kiss, but I'm definitely like just pinging and seeing the receptivity. Because again, if this girl's down for a kiss, if this girl's down for some kind of physical intimacy, that kind of thing, then the possibilities of, for example, going back to her place or going back to her area and continuing this and having it have a really big upside is there. So I'm kind of gauging where I'm at. I'm trying to decide what the right move is at this point.
I actually am genuinely, I don't want to say sad. I'm genuinely a little tiny bit disappointed you have to leave. It would have been very nice to hang out with you further, to enjoy you. Now you make me really sad you're leaving.
Okay, so now that changes things a little bit, right? Now I know she likes me. Now she's willing to commit to liking me enough to make out with me. I do have a lot more faith that if we do continue this to another venue, good things will potentially happen. And so now I'm a little less keen to just have her go off home. And now I'm going to try just a little bit, if I can in a non-needy way, to try and continue the night, to try and extend the date.
At least something positive.
At least for something positive?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because
No.
started with at least you weren't boring. Thank you.
What?
What? How would you like that somebody told me like I expected you to be boring?
I mean, I still came and saw you, right?
Yeah, but
You seemed interesting, actually. You seemed like a very interesting combination.
off. Boredom and something else.
Boredom with a little bit of edge.
Still boredom.
I'm not bored now.
Okay.
Oh, man. Where do you live exactly?
Cause you don't know.
No, I don't know. How far into because it's not that far.
So by train it will take me like minutes.
So here I'm trying to figure out logistics, obviously, because again, things are looking really, really good. I'm trying to figure out a way that I can come with her or go her direction without it being super try hard. I don't want to be super, super, super bend over backwards needy, but I'm willing at this point.
There's a good phrase that I like. I'm not saying this to you. I'm just gonna say it because I know you'll appreciate it, right?
Okay.
So there's this phrase I like. Go off your anyway, but not about you though, but just like I feel like you'd appreciate it.
I never heard this one before.
Yeah. So like off you go. Or
And again, this is slightly rude, but it's not. I make it very clear that it's not intended for her. It's a nice little emotional spike. It's also something that I think is just clever, so I just like it because I like it. But again, this whole sequence, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep it fun, keep it upbeat, build some tension, but mainly build the comfort and the okayness with me going home with her. I'm trying to make it so that it doesn't seem like so far. It doesn't seem like a big deal. It seems like a natural, fluid thing if I'm gonna go back to her area with her.
I would not. This is an offer. You can take me or leave me on this. Whatever. My offer is, I will save you the egregious train ride.
Okay.
I'll take an Uber to. You have to know the place though. You have to know a good place. Somewhere where we can grab some kind of a bite that doesn't have cheese on it for me, and doesn't have alcohol in it for you.
Okay.
We'll have something quick to eat, and then I will offer you to you, and I'll come back home. But I don't mind the journey only because I know you have to get up early and I don't tomorrow, so I don't mind going too.
Okay.
So again, this is how I make it seem like not a big deal. I make it seem very appealing. Like obviously she gets to avoid a minute train ride to take a minute Uber instead, which gives her some time to hang out with me. She clearly likes me and would like to spend the time with me rather than spending it alone in general. I make it very convenient. I explained that normally I'm not this nice. Actually, normally I wouldn't go back with her because she has to get up early and I don't. I'm willing to take I'm willing to go to her area. So it's very reasonable. It's very casual. It's very it just kind of makes sense. And it's very appealing for her, right? Instead of a long, no fun trip home by herself, she gets to go on a much shorter trip home with someone she likes. And then I told her at the end, I'm going to tell her to fuck off at the end, right? So there's no pressure. There's no whatever. It's also her place. So she doesn't feel weird, like she'd be coming back to a guy's place or something like that. So it all just kind of works. It all just makes sense. And it's appealing, right? If she likes me, it's a pretty appealing offer.
I don't know places in
You don't know any places.
I mean, I have a restaurant across the street from my apartment.
Okay. Do you know there's like even a diner will be fine, or even a bodega?
And so now we're not discussing whether or not I'm going to go back to her area. We're discussing what is the place that's open in her area. So now it's become about something else. And by me saying, but you have to know a place, or do you know a good place, that kind of thing, that's what we've made it about. So she's kind of tacitly agreed at this point that if there is a place, she's down for the plan. All right. So this is looking really good now.
I need to check what time they close.
Okay. Let's see what kind of place this is.
They are closed. Today they are early closed.
Okay, closed.
Yeah, because they are late, like Thursday.
Gotcha. Is this a bodega or a diner? What is this?
I don't know. American cuisine. I don't know.
Okay. So
It looks really fancy outside. I've never.
Do I need to break out the Google on this?
So if she doesn't know a place, I can solve it by knowing a place. So do I need to break out the Google on this? And I'm like, okay, well now since she's kind of agreed that if she could find a place, even though she didn't explicitly agree, that we'd go there, but the issue is the place is closed. Well, now if I can solve the place being closed, we're good. So if I can find a place that's open, we should be good to go. All right, do you see how step by step this problem solving has happened?
All right. So what's the part of going to? All right. Let's try this.
told you, city is easier. City is easier.
I mean, we can go somewhere here. I just didn't. I'm trying to help you. You know what I mean? I don't want you to be like far from.
That's okay. I'll still be like taking the train or something.
Okay, if it's late though, I'm not letting you take a late train. I'll get you an Uber. Okay.
Okay.
Deal?
Deal.
Like especially if it's like after midnight and the trains don't run and stuff like that, I'm getting you an Uber.
But that's actually a very practical solution on her part, right? Instead of going to somewhere near her and then that we Uber to and then she's close to home, as long as we're Ubering home, we can go somewhere near to where we are right now and then Uber her home. So since I've solved the transportation problem, I didn't have to actually solve the something open in her area problem. It's okay if there's something open in this area. And she just let me know. She's like, you know, the city's fine, right? So now that she had the possibility of seeing me again, now that she sees a solution that can get her home and it's not going to make her miss work, now she's okay, right? Problem solved, right? There's objections and conditions. Objection is when she emotionally has a problem with it. Condition is when there's an external condition. There was a condition, which is her transportation. As soon as we solved that condition, we solved the transportation issue, now she's down to hang out more. Problem solved.
How long did you live? They run all day round.
They just run like once an hour or something. I mean, they run, but they like.
Yeah.
I don't want you sitting in a train station for an hour.
Yeah, I know.
Like I can't. I'm not that mean.
Okay.
All right, fine. I would go around the block,
Nice
and
to know.
I know a place around the block.
Nice to know that you're not that big.
But I'm not that much of an asshole.
Yeah.
All right. I'm pretty sure that. Let's see, where is that? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the restaurant will be open, which is around the corner. That's my best guess. Worst case actually. So there's that. The other one we could do is if that doesn't work, you can just like go in that's a nice lobby area and we can just order food, just order like Uber Eats to come to us. That works too.
Oh.
Okay.
So I hope you enjoyed that, and I encourage you to never have another platonic date again. And remember, the key is to keep making inroads, keep chipping away. Try something a little non-platonic. If it works, great. If it doesn't, pause, converse a little bit, try again, try again, try again. It is a technique, but it's also a mentality. First and foremost, it's the decision to not have a platonic date. By the way, that clip is from inside Online Dating Academy, which is my new program in which I literally have hours upon hours upon hours of online dating infield. Video of me going on real dates with real girls showing you exactly how it's done. I have a stupid amount of infield in there. And by stupid, I mean I shot way more than I should have, and it literally delayed the launch by months because it took so damn long to edit. There's a lot of infield in this program. Check it out at the link below, and if you're watching this during the launch period, be sure you check out the special offer. Take advantage of it while you can. It won't last long. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you inside that program as well as on the next video.